Lawmakers at the Statehouse this week confronted one of the most talked about issues of the session, the clash between LGBT rights and anti-discrimination. A House committee approved a bill this week that will provide protections for people based on sexual orientation while allowing for some religious exemptions. Committee members listened to hours of testimony on the proposal before voting, and as Barbara Brosier reports, it's apparent few Hoosiers fully support the bill.
Equal protections, no exceptions. Equal protections, no exceptions.
The scene at the Statehouse Wednesday felt a bit like deja vu. Freedom, Indiana, holding a rally in the Rotunda, asking legislators to treat the LGBT population the same as every other Hoosier.
Indiana's civil rights law should protect every single resident of this state, no matter who they are or who they love.
This debate has been a year in the making. After RFRA passed last year and legislators quickly drafted a fix, attention shifted to the lack of civil rights protections for people who are gay, lesbian, bisexual, or transgender. Lawmakers vowed to address that during this year's legislative session and took the issue up in a Senate committee Wednesday.
I hope that members understand that, and folks in the audience understand that, or here in the chamber understand the struggles that you go through in trying to find that common ground with two opinions that seem to be so divergent.
Republican Travis Holdman offered up two bills, Senate Bill 100 and Senate Bill 344. SB 100 would provide civil rights protections for the LGBT community and allow for religious exemptions. But SB 344 would only provide protections based on sexual orientation, moving gender identity to a summer study committee. It provides exemptions for small businesses, religious organizations, adoption agencies, crisis pregnancy centers, and nonprofits that do religious work. Some of the dozens of people who spoke out during the 4.5-hour hearing say while SB 344 isn't all-inclusive, it's better than nothing.
Today, it is within the law to say you're gay, you're fired. You're gay, you have 30 days to vacate this apartment. You're gay, you can't eat at this lunch counter. And that's just simply wrong, and a significant majority of Hoosiers agree.
But people on both sides of the issue spoke out against the proposals. Some worry, even with exemptions, the bills will infringe on religious liberty.
We believe equating the sexual preferences and practices of some with the most cherished rights of all, most especially freedoms of conscience and religion, erodes those founding freedoms while creating special new rights for the favored groups.
Baronelle Stutzman ran a flower shop in Washington State. She came to provide a warning to business owners.
Don't subject Indiana's to what I'm going through.
She had to shut down her shop in the wake of a lawsuit after she refused to provide flowers for a gay wedding.
If you vote for these bills, you'll be sending a message to the citizens of Indiana that share my beliefs about marriage, that they will not be tolerated. They will be threatened, dragged into court, sued, and lose their business.
Other opponents of the measure say they don't go far enough in protecting one of the state's most vulnerable populations.
It would be wildly inappropriate for anyone to tell someone how to be trans. And it is beyond the scope of reason for a group of lawmakers to dictate who is and who is not transgender.
The bills, as they are written right now, are shameful and frankly cowardly. They placate a few people who refuse to understand that we live in a pluralistic society.
At the end of the night, legislators decided to bring the bill that provides protections only for sexual orientation and religious freedoms up for a vote, passing it through committee 7-5. The bill will be debated on the Senate floor as early as next week. For Indiana News Desk, I'm Barbara Brosier.
A big question remains, though, at the end of the debate. Will Governor Mike Pence sign a bill if it makes it to his desk? During a State of the State address this month, Pence said he would not support any legislation that would take away Hoosiers' right to religious freedoms.
Legislation must be consistent with the Indiana Constitution. I will not support any bill that diminishes the religious freedom of Hoosiers or interferes with the constitutional rights of our citizens to live out their beliefs in worship, service, or work.
And it's worth mentioning that lawmakers' attempts to fully rewrite last year's religious freedom restoration law got squashed early this week. The measure barely got a hearing, let alone a vote.